have we got a video for you this week. Hi, I'm Dan.
Hi, I'm Dina, and we are Rivers to Ridges RV.
We're staying at Homestead RV Community in Theodore, Alabama. We're about 10 miles south of Mobile and about 10 miles north of Dauphin Island. We didn't realize it at the time, but Ed Bridgman is actually the owner of Homestead RV Community. Right. If you don't know who Ed is, he's one of the co-authors of Six Sigma.
And he's also a recipient of the Malcolm Baldrige Award from President Ronald Reagan.
From Ronald Reagan, yes, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And Ed has an extensive background in the RV domain, RV industry, and knowledge. He was kind enough to sit down and talk with us for a while, and we were blown away. If you ever wanted to know about the trends in the RV industry, what does it look like in the future? Why do some of these parks owners or destination owners make the decisions they make? Ed knows the answers. He answered all of our questions. You're gonna want to watch this all the way through. There's just vast amounts of knowledge scattered throughout this this video from start to finish. Trust me, we learned a lot.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of everything in here for anybody who
definitely
RVs at all, camps at all.
Definitely, and you're gonna hear it from somebody who knows what he's talking about. So we're gonna just basically show you our conversation with Ed. We're gonna let that run all the way through. This is gonna be a rather long video, longer than most of our videos, but you will learn something. I can almost guarantee it. Then we'll come back at the end of the conversation and kind of close out the video and make sure you learn something as well. So here's our conversation with Ed Bridgman.
Roll it.
And I appreciate you talking with us, and I really want to talk to you about the trends in the RV industry and just RVing in general. And I know you're an expert in the RV industry, but we'd like to get some of your background. What makes you so knowledgeable about RVing and the RV industry?
Well, I studied the industry because I wanted to see something that was growing in the tourism, outdoor hospitality industry. I did a lot of research, and I discovered that the RV industry is just blowing up, has been blowing up for the past 10 years, and it's being fueled by younger people. In 2021, 614.4 thousand new RVs were sold. 60% of them were sold to people younger than 40 years of age. So as this trend is growing, it's being fueled by younger people and more diversified races, more diversified groups of people. 60% of the people who worked in brick and mortar companies before COVID are not returning to brick and mortar. Therefore, they need high-speed internet, but they're putting their money into RVs and looking for experiences and traveling the country rather than staying in brick and mortar homes. In 2020, the average brick and mortar home in the United States sold for $300,000. In 2021, it was $370,000. The interest rates are going up, and they're going to continue to go up for the next year or two. So that has created a barrier that the first-time homeowner can't break through. But they can get into a nice RV for a little over $100,000, and they can have their equity on wheels. That is the next step in the evolutionary process, is for Americans to live in RVs. We see it all the time with people who are selling their brick and mortar homes, like you guys did.
That's what we did, yep.
And moving into an RV full time. We have many people that are doing that of all ages. Okay. But especially your younger generations never qualified, never got into a brick and mortar home, and now they're buying home on wheels. The average American moves every 4.2 years. So to buy a brick and mortar home and pay that big payment every month, the first 4 years all you're paying is interest. Right. So now 4.2 years later, the average person is moving and they go to look at selling their home, they don't have any equity in it. Everything they paid has been interest. So if they're fortunate, it has maintained its value, but more than likely it's gone down in value. Plus, they don't even it's not worth what they paid for it. So people can find that they can put their money in their RV and move with their jobs or move where they want to go.
So you took all this knowledge that you have, and what you just talked about, and you came here to Theodore, Alabama, and we're about, what, 20 miles south of Mobile?
We're 10 miles south of Mobile and 10 miles north of Dolphin Island. We're right between. We're just less than 2 miles from the bay, which feeds into the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay. Now, did you already live here? Because you purchased this land, right? For
specifically for this purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why here?
Well, I had 7 criteria, and I don't know if I can remember them all right now, but I wanted to be at the intersection of 2 blacktop highways, because people who spend a lot of money on their RVs, they don't want to go across gravel and dirt roads and roads that have a lot of pits and stuff like that.
Or the interstates in Colorado.
Exactly. So it was important to be at interstate. It was important to be at the intersection of 2 blacktop highways, but both my blacktop highways, one's 4 miles total in length, the other one's 3 miles total in length. So they're very quiet blacktop highways. I'm just a mile from a good grocery store, bank, Dollar General, VA hospital. I'm just a few miles from good VA hospital, restaurants. I'm just a mile off the main drag, but I'm in a very quiet area. The loudest thing here at night is frogs. So I wanted to be an intersection. I wanted to have the largest barrier to entry when you're developing an RV destination is sewer. So I wanted to be on public sewer, and that's very hard to find a place that will allow you the permit to build what you want to build, but have public sewer. And this area is getting ready to develop the salt air community, and they just put in a brand new sewer system that ran right past this property. So I wanted to be close to a grocery store, blacktop, sewer, quiet. So it took me 2 years to find this property.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so that is definitely a nice space. Now, the other thing I noticed too is you have Homestead RV Community. Why not park or campground or resort? What makes it a community?
So there are 4 types of destination types, RV destination types. There's 4 different types. It's almost 5. Parks are the only one that you do not want to invest in. Parks are the only RV destination type that is going down in value at this time. Parks are next to the interstate, they're next to the exit ramp. They're where someone gets off of the interstate on their way from their home to where they were going to go. Parks have been around for 100 years, just over 100 years. People don't realize that, but Airstream celebrated 100 years in business in 2019. So parks have been around forever, and a lot of them look like they've been around forever, okay? But they don't have any amenities, they're very small sites, and they're going down in value. Okay, where the person was actually going was to a campground, usually. Campgrounds have been around for 100 years. They're outside Mount Rushmore. They're outside places of interest that you want to go and you want to spend the day at the Grand Canyon. You want to spend the day at Disney World, but you want to camp that night in the campground as close to there as possible. The problem with campgrounds is they've been around for 100 years, but I challenge you to go to Orlando, Florida, and buy land across the street from Disney World and try to find one that's permitted so that you can put it in a campground. You can't do it, okay? Most of the good campground locations have been identified and purchased already. Now, I purchased my property in 2013, and in 2015 the federal government used BP oil money that they got from the BP oil spill, and they purchased 245 acres of salt air, and they're opening up the newest national park, 7/10 of a mile from me. So if you can anticipate where the next attraction is going to be, then you can build a campground, and you don't have to put in a lot of amenities because they're going to go spend their day over at that amenity that is provided by somebody else. Then about 15 years ago, we realized that the average RV was selling for over $100,000, and people didn't have 2 weeks every couple of months to take off and go to the Grand Canyon. They wanted to use this RV more often. They wanted to use it for shorter trips, shorter distances away. So most people were traveling less than 100 miles, and they wanted to go someplace that they could enjoy their RV. So resorts were created about 15 years ago. But a resort can be anywhere. It can be out in the middle of a field. But you have to provide those amenities to attract those people to you. Oftentimes a fitness center, oftentimes an adult pool and a family-friendly pool. So you have to have karaoke nights and bingo nights. You have to entertain these people. They're willing to pay more for a resort, but they expect more in return. Now, I built a community, and a community is exactly what you would expect from a brick and mortar community. I want to be in a quiet, safe neighborhood close to a grocery store. I'm 1 mile from a good grocery store, a bank, filling station, Dollar General, some restaurants. I'm just 1 mile away, but I'm in a very quiet intersection of Bay Road and Pioneer Road in Theodore, Alabama. So it took me a long time to find this. I think I'm drifting off the subject here, but a community is a safe, quiet environment. And then the fifth one, if you want to count the fifth one, would be a hybrid. So right now I'm a community. I focus on long-term visitors, and I provide them huge spaces, quiet, safe environment. But the newest national park is getting ready to open next year, 7/10 of a mile from me. So people are going to come here short term and use me like a campground when they visit that park.
Okay, so you're
going to be a hybrid.
A hybrid at that point. Okay, yeah, that all makes sense. Now I've noticed staying here, your sites are huge. You have really nice sites. I noticed you have the internet is awesome. This is the first place I think we've ever stayed at that we can actually use the Wi-Fi for
we have fiber optics,
a campground or a community Wi-Fi. So what makes your community different than maybe a campground or something from 10 or 15 years ago?
Well, that's a very good question. So 77% of all American RV destinations are older than 20 years old. The median age is 40 years of age. The median age of RV destinations is 40. And another point to bring up on a side note, people take pictures of their RV destination when it looks the best.
Yeah.
And they put that on the website. Okay?
We noticed that, yeah.
And then when you get there, you're like, well, it might have looked like this 20 years ago, but it don't look like this now, okay? So we have people come to us and say, your pictures don't do you justice, okay? Because we've been open less than 2 years. So our grass is still getting established and stuff like that. We need to update our pictures because we're actually better than our pictures. But you're in site 17. Our smallest site is 40 foot wide and 82 foot long. That site that you're in is kind of in a pie shape. It's 40 foot wide at the front. It's probably 70 feet wide in the back or wider, and it goes on for 150 feet probably.
But now everybody knows my favorite site, so I might have a hard time getting in there again.
Well, we have a lot of sites that are 106 foot long, stuff like that. So, but every site comes with a flat concrete pad, and our smallest concrete pad is 20 foot wide and 70 foot long. So the largest RV built is 46 foot long. Being pulled by, even if it's being pulled by a tractor trailer or semi-truck, then that's going to be about 28 feet. So 46 and 28 feet, you're still around 70 feet. And then we still have a whole nother lane for outdoor jacuzzis, outdoor furniture, another car, all on the concrete. And it's very important to us that we provide that feel of having a driveway and having, this is a place that you can call home. You can stay here a long time.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I know you said earlier that it sounds like millennials are really starting to get into RVing. I'm assuming most millennials are still working. So I'm assuming again that that's one of the reasons why you have such great internet
You
here.
have to have fast, high-speed internet. That is no longer something that you can charge for. It's no longer something people expect, fast, high-speed internet. And unfortunately, because the average RV destination is older, it's difficult to put that infrastructure in place now after the fact. Our infrastructure is all in the ground, it's all taken care of, and we use fiber optics throughout. So yeah, we have 5 gig capability.
Yeah, I know it is
blazing.
fast. It's nice.
Yeah, and we always have that. And our uptime, we were down 4 hours last year total.
Okay. That's nice. That's
Yeah,
good. Yeah. So other than, I think you said millennials are getting into RVing. What about, are you seeing any trends in the types of RVs you're seeing, or the length of stay that people are coming here? Are you seeing more like fifth wheels over?
More fifth wheels, yeah. You can get more space for your money in a fifth wheel. And then you can also have another vehicle that you can disconnect and go. When we had a Super C in here last night for a couple of days, he left this morning, and he had to pull another vehicle behind him. Or if somebody comes up with a Class C but they don't have another vehicle, then they have to pull in their slides, and to go to the grocery store, they have to take their Class C with them. So what we're seeing is a lot of fifth wheels, especially in the younger generations, the millennials and less. Interesting enough, we're seeing a lot of vintage come in, which I think is interesting because there's a lot of RV destinations who I disagree with. They put an age restriction on.
Yeah.
We've had some beautiful rigs in here that are 30 years old, but they've been completely redone. They're beautiful. They have a matching car that is pulling it.
Yeah.
These people.
I never understood that, because a lot of places it's a 10-year limit.
A lot of places.
But, I could have a 2-year-old RV that doesn't look the best, and I could be, like you say, I could have one completely rebuilt. And
so I design RV destinations for a living all over the country, okay? And I design them in such a way that the camp worker or owner can say yes. May we bring 4 children? Yes. Can we bring big dogs? Absolutely. We have the largest dog park in the state of Alabama. Can we have 3 air conditioners? I know places where they count the air conditioners up on top, and they charge a different rate for that. That's ridiculous. Okay, we don't do that. Age restrictions, we don't do that. Okay, I don't want to count the children. Can we bring 4 kids? I don't want to stand there at the gate and make you open up all your slide outs and count and see if there's a kid hiding underneath the bed or something like that. We don't do any of that. All right, it's a flat rate. Come on in. Now, we are the first in the United States. We're certainly not going to be the last. But when you check in, your electricity and water meters are automatically read. And then when your bill is due, whether it's the next day, next week, next month, your electric and water meter are automatically read again. We provide 25 kilowatt hours per day, and the average RV doesn't go over that. But we're anticipating people who have electric Teslas. We have a guy here now who has electric Tesla. The same gentleman is making ice outside in his outside refrigerator. In the summertime, he goes over a lot, okay? We find that the same person who goes over in the summertime goes over in the wintertime. And you're like, wait a second, how can that be? Well, it's because they're using space heaters, electric space heaters, burn a lot of electricity. So even though you're only there, a lot of places don't charge for electricity for overnight guests.
Right.
But that overnight guest can pull down 100 kilowatt hours of electricity, which is equivalent to $20 of electricity.
So it sounds like then what you're doing is, if I understand you correctly, it's kind of pay as you go, or it's like you're not penalizing the small guy to make up for the big guy's usage.
Right.
So
that's exactly what everybody else is doing. They're trying to figure out how much electricity is the average person going to be using, and they're trying to raise their daily rate and their weekly rate so that the little guy subsidizes the big guy who doesn't get charged enough, because the big guy can pull down We have people pulling down 120 kilowatt hours in a 24-hour period. The average is a little less than 25. We provide 25 kilowatt hours. I don't want to nickel and dime people, okay? So if you come in and you're reasonable with your electricity and you use 20 to 25, you don't get any extra charge, okay? But the person who comes in and is making ice outside and it's 90 degrees outside, he's got an electric car, he's got an electric golf cart, he's got 3 air conditioners, and the kids keep the doors open all day long. He needs to pay.
Right.
And he don't care. He really don't care. I don't have complaints about that.
And the smaller guy gets a cheaper
smaller guy gets a less
daily
bay rate. Less expensive. We're not cheap. He gets a less expensive base rate.
Okay, less expensive. Okay. but it makes sense.
I hope so. And that's the direction that everybody is going to have to go. So there are some people who come in and say, I've never been charged, I never cared about how much electricity I use. Guess what? When they figure out that we give them 25 kilowatt hours a day, they start caring, okay? Yeah. And they go, hey, wait a second, maybe I don't need all 3 air conditioners on tonight. Maybe we can open up the windows and enjoy the breeze. It's good for the environment also, because these people they don't abuse the electricity as much.
You're making them accountable again. Have you seen any, I guess, bad feedback on that at all? Or I'm sure, like, this is the first place we've been to that we've seen it like this.
Well, so, you're going to see it a lot more. Okay, we are the first in the nation. We designed the software. We worked with a company to design the software and the pedestals to be able to do it. We are the most technologically advanced RV destination in the world. But I have a lot of clients. And the reason why my clients love me is because I test the technology here, both hardware and software, and it's the technology that they want to employ. So you're going to see this. This is going to have to be. As we are forced into using electric vehicles, right now Tiffin's making an 80,000 pound Class A motor coach all electric.
Wow.
That dude's going to pull down so much electricity. If you put him in there overnight, and you charge your regular $50 a night, he's going to take $60 in electricity, and you just paid him $10 to stay at your park. Okay, I mean, it's not going to be an option here pretty quick. Okay. Everybody is going to have to at least meter electricity. Right now, almost everybody is on board for metering long term, but they're going out and they're writing it down by hand. They're reading the meters themselves, and they have to get everybody to come in on the first, or they have to sub-rate them until they get to the first, and then they read all the meters on the first. Ours, whatever day you come in, that's your first day of the month. Our meters are all read automatically. It doesn't make any difference if it's raining. We don't transpose any numbers because it's all done digitally.
Right. Okay. So yeah, less mistakes that way too. So.
Absolutely.
If you find this kind of information helpful, please subscribe to our channel. We need all the subscribers we can get, and also make sure you hit the like button.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
So that was your electricity and kind of how that works. Your water's kind of the same way, right? Your water's metered as well, and you allow so much water usage for a stay.
Well, that has kind of evolved also. So I'm an electrical engineer. I have a master's degree in business, but I understand electricity. So I demanded that we had electric meters, and while we were putting in a transmitter, we might as well put in water meters, right? We're building from scratch. We might as well do it all. Okay, so we did. Well, guess what? I discovered water meters don't work underwater. Who knew? How is that? That's crazy. Okay, so when you think of a city in the United States that gets a lot of rain, you say,
I don't know. What do I say?
What do you say? What city gets a lot of rain?
Seattle, Washington.
Everybody says Seattle. Yeah. The average rainfall in Seattle, the average annual rainfall in Seattle is 33 inches. Mobile's annual average rainfall is 66 inches.
I think Florida's like that too. Yeah.
So in Seattle, it rains misty 300 days out of the year, but there's no accumulation. Okay. Right. We got 4 inches of rain the other night in a half a dozen hours. Yeah. Okay, so when you get 4 inches of rain in 6 hours, it floods your little basin that the water meter is in.
Okay.
The water meter don't work, okay, underwater, because it's got a magnetic little trigger in there that's going around. Well, the magnetic doesn't work underwater. So actually, I am developing, we could have a whole 30-minute segment just on what I'm developing. I am developing a water meter that meters how much water is passing through a pipe without breaking the pipe.
Oh, okay.
So you ever seen the little hair clips that you can slap your finger and it wraps around your finger?
Yeah.
I'm taking one of those and I'm hooking it up so that you slap it around this 2-inch, 1-inch, half-inch pipe. It don't make any difference to me, and I'm going to monitor how much water is going through that pipe.
Okay.
So I'm working on that. But it's not a huge high priority because I lease my washer and dryers from a company. And I do that because if they ever break down, I make one phone call and the next day they come out and they fix it, okay? The lease contract is in such a way that the company pays for everything. All the repairs, all the machines, they pay for all the credit card charges, and then there's a profit left over. I get a big chunk of that profit. That profit pays for all my water in the entire community.
Okay.
So I'm not really worried. So people come up to me and say, can I wash my RV? Go for it. Wash it. Okay, I don't care. We have jacuzzis that we can take around to your site. They're portable, fill them up, 300 gallons. Okay? I don't care. All right? Because my water bill is offset. My washers and dryer pay for my entire water bill. So I never complain about somebody using too much water. It's not really an issue.
So that brings up a question I wanted to ask you, and this is more of a, I guess, a general question. We've noticed that a lot of the places we go to, a lot of campgrounds, they do not allow you to wash your RV. In general, generally speaking, I'm assuming it's water. They don't want you, the cost of water. Do you have another opinion to that, or?
Well, there's two different reasons. So it depends on where you're at. If you're in the Midwest, from Nevada to Kansas, there's 7 states that are being mandated by the federal government to use 1/3 less water than they did last year. Lake Mead is at all-time record levels. Low, okay? I mean, they're finding dead bodies in Lake Mead, okay? The Mississippi River is at an all-time record low, okay? So the Midwest is being required to use 1/3 less water than they did in 2021. Okay. Now, was that significant? I used to design microprocessors for Motorola. Our plant, where we built microprocessors, used the same amount of water as a city that has 80,000 people in it.
Wow.
Okay? So Motorola can't build a plant in those 7 states, all right? Those 7, any manufacturing that requires a lot of water, all of your metal working, cars, tires, steel mills, they've all got to move out of those states, okay? That's where we get our wheat, our corn, our bread, okay? So the farmers have to use 1/3 less water, all right? It's a big doggone deal, okay? So people are moving to the southeast where we don't have a water problem, we don't have an electric problem. Mobile has a deep water bay, so goods can come in and out. We have the railroad going north and south and I-10 going east and west. Did I get off subject by about 100 miles? What was the question?
Water usage.
Water usage. Yeah. Okay, so if you're in the Midwest, they're worried about how much water you use. Okay? If you're in an RV destination that has gravel sites, they're worried about you putting too much water on that gravel site and then moving your 60,000 pound RV the next day because you washed it just before you left.
Yep.
Okay, the site is soaked because it took you an hour to wash your RV, and now you go to move it with your Dewey pickup and your 60,000 pound RV that can go up to 80,000 pounds, by the way, and you leave deep ruts.
Okay.
So we have concrete pads, and we don't allow anything on the water. We don't allow anything on the grass. You wash your RV, the water runs off of the concrete into the grass. You're just watering my grass.
Right.
Fine with me. You're not driving on my grass anyway.
Right.
So no ruts, no foul.
I never thought about the water restrictions. That's a good point. I did figure a lot of campgrounds didn't want, you know, leaving a mess or mud for the next person or something like that. So,
but we have concrete.
Yeah, so it's a non-issue.
Wash it.
Good. Okay.
Enjoy.
So that brings up another point. Again, this is kind of general campgrounds in general. A lot of places will not allow you to work on your RV, or they require you to use their mobile tech.
What a scam. I'm sorry. Right now there is such a gulf between the supply of RV sites and the demand for RV sites is humongous, okay? Last year we sold 614.4 new RVs, 614,000 new RVs, okay? We created 25,000 new sites. So divide 614.4 thousand by 25, and you understand that there is a huge gulf, and it's growing, between the demand for sites and the supply of sites. So people are putting out these restrictions of age restrictions, number of people in the RV restrictions, water restrictions, the size of your pet restrictions and stuff like that. My philosophy is I'm a little bit older, okay? And I've seen the ebb and the flow and the ebb and the flow. And the problem with the ebb and the flow is you don't know you're at the peak when you're at the peak, okay? You don't realize about 6 months later you go, oh, the peak was up there, okay? Should have sold then, all right? So the thing is, these people who are taking advantage of the fact right now that there are such a demand and they can make these ridiculous restrictions and get by with it, they're not looking at the long term. It may be 6 years from now, it may be 6 months from now, but this ebb is going to go the other direction one of these days, and people are going to remember, I don't want to stay there. The guy was a jerk, okay, and he was charging me for every little teeny tiny thing, and you know, we design our RV destinations for our clients so that our clients can say yes. How many kids you got? I don't care how many kids you got. I don't care how many dogs you got. I don't care the size of your dogs. I have more trouble with the little yapper dog than I do the big dogs, okay? Bring them. Okay? We've designed our place so that you can say yes.
Right? And do you know, like, what are people looking for? Like, what amenities are the common? Again, I guess a lot of millennials coming out now. So, are they asking for certain amenities? Or are they asking, where can I go hiking? Where can I go fishing? What are they actually looking for?
So, hands down, you have to have high-speed internet. That is no longer an option. It is a requirement, okay? High-speed internet, that's not even worth talking about. We're putting in a pool next year. A lot of people ask for pools, but they don't actually get in the water, okay? they want a pool access, but they don't necessarily want to get in it. And that's a little frustrating to me because the insurance goes up, the liability goes up, and we're putting one in for those people, but we don't anticipate it being used a lot. The top 5 things in America are hiking, biking, kayaking, fishing, bird watching.
Really? Bird watching?
Believe it or not, bird watching. That wouldn't be my first choice.
No, me neither.
But guess what? Here in Theodore, we have 3,200 different species of birds.
Wow.
Because they're coming up in the wintertime, they go down across the Gulf, and they go down into Mexico. And we are on this migratory path both ways, whether they're going south or headed back up north.
Okay.
We have 3,200 species of birds. We have a nesting bald eagle pair just a half a mile from here.
Oh, really? Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bald eagles are pretty cool.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, Ed, I noticed you have EOB Consulting on your screen. You actually even have it on your shirt. What exactly is EOB Consulting?
So I design RV destinations and boat and RV storage facilities all over the country. And hey, it was on the screen. So EOB Consulting, the largest percentage of my customers they'll call me up and they'll say, I'm getting ready to close, I'm getting ready to put a contract on a piece of property, and I want to know, how should I maximize the value of that property? Okay. Should I make an RV destination? And they'll usually say, should I make an RV park? And I go, no, you don't make an RV park. But one of the other RV destinations, maybe, okay? And so they'll say, oh, I don't know the difference. I don't know a lot about this industry. Or they'll say, I'm getting ready to purchase an RV destination that's currently in business, and I need to know, am I paying too much, or how much should I be paying for that? Or I'm getting ready to build a boat and RV storage facility, and how, I don't know, I need a site design. I need to go into wetland mitigation. I need to go get it rezoned. I need to get the property rezoned, and the county is asking me to provide them with a business plan, including a site layout of what the property is going to look like, so that they can rezone it.
Okay.
That's what I do. Okay. So as soon as it goes under, they usually call me before it goes under contract, so that we can get them in the schedule, because our schedule is usually 6 weeks out, something like that. Okay. We've been averaging 3 or 4 RV destination feasibility studies a month.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we tell people it takes us 6 weeks to do it. We usually get them done in about 4 weeks, okay. But I give myself a little bit of a buffer. But so I usually schedule about 6 weeks out. So then they call us and say, okay, we just went under contract. All right, they just accepted our contract. And I'm usually the next call they make. Okay. And so then we schedule a time to come out there. If you hire a consultant and he doesn't come out and walk your property with you, then don't hire him, okay? We go out, we develop an understanding of your vision. What is it that you see setting on this property? What would you like to build? Because ultimately you're going to own it. What is it that you want to have? Okay, what would you be proud of? And so that first day, we walk the property with the client, and we develop an understanding of their vision, and we have a questionnaire we fill out, and we educate them about the different destination types and the different guests that come to each individual destination type. Because the average resort person is not the same as the average campground person, okay? They both require the owner of the RV destination, they both require his attention, they both require different amenities. But if you build a resort where you should have built a campground, you will not maximize the value of your property. Okay. So first we understand what the owner wants and the type of guests they want to attract, and then we spend a couple of days in the area, and we go and interview not just the RV destinations. That would be easy, anybody could do that, but we also go in and talk to the city council, we talk to the Chamber of Commerce, we talk to what is coming into the area. Is the area growing? Is the area dying? What manufacturing is coming in? What are the type of people that the area, the government area, the leadership wants to bring into that area? Because if you're going to be fighting an uphill battle all the time to get permitting and everything because they don't really want you there, we take that all into consideration. Okay, so then we do this competitive analysis. Now we understand what the local market needs, what you can charge, what size you should have, what type of RV destination you should have, whether it's a community campground, park, resort, or a hybrid. And so then we do a layout. We provide the layout for you. Okay. And we do it in PDF as well as CAD. It's always done in computer-aided design, CAD design, so that, and if it's not, if you're considering hiring a consultant that doesn't use CAD, don't hire them, okay? I've seen designs where the roads didn't go to where all the sites were, and it's like, you expect this RV to jump over there, or how, or the road curves too tight, and the largest RV being pulled by a semi-tractor trailer can't make that corner, and it's going to pull up on your grass.
And these are
stuff.
things a small maybe a small mom and pop wanting to get into the RV destination as a business, they're not going to understand all these kind of questions.
Oh my gosh, I have people come to me all the time and say, look at this design. I just hired a civil engineer to make this design. And I'm like, okay, I understand working with your local civil engineer, and we're going to encourage you to do that because you're going to need to get permits. Okay, so we're going to work with the local civil engineer. But well, he's said he designed 4 RV destinations in the last 6 years. I'm like, I designed 4 a month. Okay, so I'm far further down the road, as far more experienced about the latest trends and what the people are looking for. The RVs are evolving all the time. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to electric, but the RV owner has evolved exponentially in the last couple of years, blown up because of COVID. The RV owner is completely different today. The average RV owner today is completely different than they were just 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
A very short time ago. And what they demand and what they need is completely different. Okay? I have people pull into Homestead and they pull up outside the office, and I come walking out to escort them to their site, and they just throw me their keys. And I'm like, what? And they go, I'm not backing this thing up. You go ahead, you know. 5 years ago, that was unheard of, okay? But today, 20% of the people say, here's the keys to my truck.
Wow. That's
back that in, okay? But it goes to show the difference in the RV owner today.
Yeah.
Okay? We have RVs in here right now that there's no truck. The owner doesn't own a truck. Okay?
Really?
He's got a 42-foot fifth wheel, but he doesn't own a truck. Okay? And he hires that to be moved when he wants it moved. Of course, we're here long term.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was unheard of 5 years ago. Hiring somebody every time you wanted to move. But now it's pretty common.
I've actually never heard that.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, we have RVs in here right now that came directly from the dealer. So they bought them brand new, had them delivered here. They don't own a truck, okay? And they don't intend to buy a truck. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty common. So Homestead, we identify the type. Now we know how much we're going to rent. We know what we're going to rent. We got the site laid out, so it gets approved by the client. Goes back and forth. We do it in CAD so that we make sure that we can navigate the roads, but we do it in PDF because nobody has CAD software except my engineers. And then once that's approved, then I do a 10-year cash flow and explain what it's going to cost, when you're going to get your money back, what's your internal rate of return, what's your operating costs going to be. That's the business plan that your investor is going to require. I provide all of that.
So if somebody was somebody's looking into buying a piece of land or an existing destination, how do they get in contact with EOB Consulting?
Oh, thank you very much. My phone number is 512-785-1379. But go to website eob-consulting.com. If you want to come to Homestead, go to homervc.com. That phone number is 251-973-2484 for Homestead. But for EOB, it's EOB- the straight line between the B and the C, consulting.com.
Okay, great. Yeah. I think you answered a lot of our questions. I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate your time, Ed.
Thank you.
Thank
I appreciate
you so much.
Your time.
Hopefully, if people, have questions about the industry and the trends, they can watch the video and get some of the
I'm presenting all the time. I'm presenting at several of these state conferences, both for boat and RV storage, as well as for RV, as well as for manufactured homes. I get asked to present at a lot of manufactured home conferences because there's a lot of manufacturing home destination owners that are converting to RVs, and they want to learn more about it.
Good. And I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
I'm so glad you made it all the way through this video. There's a lot of information from Ed throughout the whole video. Hopefully you got something from it, and hopefully you're able to learn something from it.
We hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week and stay safe.
Remember, always live life to the fullest.
Safe travels and God bless.